All systems go. Clear for liftoff.
What is going on, SHIPIT Nation, YouTube station? It's your Friday crew. As always, your Monday, Friday bookend squad here. I got my guy Hamwich with me like I do every Monday, every Friday. We got a big whopping 13-game, just kidding, 12-game slate because the Yankees game is postponed. Do not put Aaron Judge in your lineup. That will be a very expensive zero. That game is not going to happen tonight. Mother Nature said, not tonight. We're not going to see Aaron Judge hit another home run there tonight. So get that game off the slate there. We still got 12 games to talk about. And when you take a look at ownership and everything like that, I mean, it looks like two pitchers and then the Braves and everybody else, everything else. We'll talk about it. We'll navigate it the best we can. Hamwich, how's your week, man? It's been a great week over here in the MLB streets at SHIPIT Nation. I know we say that a lot, but it is what it is. It's a fact. Screenshots galore in the Discord. Nasty Nestor, man. I can kick that guy right where the sun don't shine. But outside of that, it's been a great week overall over here, man. How's it been going for you? What's up, man? Happy Friday.
Yeah, happy Friday. Yeah, I saw he's normally in the chat, but our guy Sean Sullivan absolutely smashed it last night over on Underdog. I think he won $5K off a $10 entry fee. So congrats to Sean. But yeah, great week over here. Got to go to the county fair last night, Nate. I know you're a big county fair guy. Ate me some fried Oreos, man. Lost a ton of money trying to play games, win a stuffed animal. But all in all, it was a good week. 12 games. Looking forward to talking about it with you and breaking it all down.
Yeah, looking forward to breaking it all down. But before we do, we got to jump into our promo off the top. NFL season, right? Preseason is full swing. The Packers kick it off on Saturday here in Cleveland. My boy Jordan Love season, right, is going to get some snaps there. It's going to be fun to see. But preseason going on right now. I think there's, 3 games tonight or something like that as well. NFL 50, or go to shipitnation.com. Click the banner at the top of the screen. It'll automatically discount your rate to the $299 for the season package, as you see here on the screen. Otherwise, use that promo code NFL50 to bring that package price down. Optimizer is included. Our Shiptimizer is fully all access, ready to rip. Now it is a paid service. It is no longer free for current customers. It is now an added feature there, our in-house optimizer. I used it yesterday. Been diving into it, dealing with that. Obviously, I've used Solver for a long time with our partnership there. But bringing our optimizer in-house, I will tell you, it is incredible. It is amazing. Function amazing. Everything is great there. So that is included in that package there for NFL. College football is included as well, another $200 plus value, and you get free access to our site for our other premium content right now, including baseball, including PGA, including MMA, for the time being until NFL season starts there. Those are the rates across the industry. Those are facts. Go check them out yourself. $299 is all-encompassing, one rate, lowest fee in the industry, multiple Millie Maker winners. We're ready to have an incredible NFL season, but this is a baseball show. We're crushing baseball as well. Let's get to it. Let's talk pitching. Hamwich, we're going to go 8K and above. It's your boy toy down there, Michael Lorenzen. New look, Michael Lorenzen in Kansas City there. Pitching at home against old Dusty Mikolas there against those Cardinals there. He's down at 8K all the way up to the top, and Jack Flaherty. I want to throw out 2 names in particular, maybe 3, but 2 for sure. Flaherty, clear-cut SP1 on the slate, gets a matchup at home. Pitching out there for the Doyers against these Pirates. He's going to be probably 50-ish% owned, maybe higher, for a good reason. He's looked like the best ace all season long, just Mr. Consistent. Hasn't really had a slate-breaking performance of like a 40 or something like that, 40, 50 burger in terms of DraftKings scoring, but very consistent to get you 25 or so DraftKings points. You can pretty much chuck that in for 25 and move on there. And then the other guy, Robbie Ray. Pretty scary when you see Robbie Ray and chalk in the same sentence there. I use the old-fashioned rule. I've talked about it multiple times on this show. If Robbie Ray getting ownership, yes. Okay, then I'm looking elsewhere. If he's not getting ownership and he's going to be low owned, he's got the upside, as we've seen in 2 of his last 3 starts there. But tonight he is getting ownership. It's those 2 guys and then everybody else in terms of pitcher. So there is a couple guys up here that I do think are going to be pretty low owned that could match some of the upside of those 2 other guys. Zach Wheeler is particular one of them, despite the tough matchup there. So I can throw it over to you, man. There's a lot of arms to talk about up here, but overall pitching is pretty weak in terms of the nature of the slate. Where are you going above 8K?
Yeah, a couple pitchers I really like tonight. Let's start with Flaherty. I think he is the best of the bunch. Absolutely. He would be my SP1 on the slate, at home, which, I don't know how much we would call this home, as this is a brand new ballpark for him. But he's got familiar surroundings with him, been there a couple weeks now. The better thing for him, though, is he gets to take on this Pittsburgh Pirates team that just frankly hasn't been very good over the last couple weeks. 26% strikeout rate. You look at what they're doing on the road, it's not much better. O'Neal Cruz, almost a 39% strikeout rate versus righties. That's in 140 plate appearances. So Flaherty's my SP1 on the slate. I really like him. Number 2 for me up in this range, Nades, maybe a little different than most. It's going to be Jameson Taillon, going to the south side, taking on this White Sox team that's just not very good, struggles to put up runs at home. Top 3 batters projected all have a 30% plus strikeout rate. We've seen Taillon, put up a couple 20 burgers earlier in the season. We expect them to win this game as well. So you're going to get that win equity, I believe. And then he's been pretty solid. He had a hiccup, I think, a game or 2 ago, but like the matchup, like the price in him. And then lastly, I'll talk about, I do like Robbie Ray tonight. Chalk does scare me. Robbie Ray does scare me a little bit, but this Tigers team is not very good, and they've just been absolutely brutal on the road versus left-handed pitching. You got about 6 of the guys in the projected lineup with a 20+% strikeout rate versus lefties. So yeah, give me some Robbie Ray. Would be my SP3 up there in this 8K and above range.
Yeah, no, excellent breakdown there. Jack Flaherty, SP1 on the slate. That's good chalk, in my opinion. Chalk worth eating. I'll take my 20 to 25 on the slate. It's hard to see another pitcher on the slate. Kind of matches upside. I would say Crochet probably has a similar chance, but they are going to limit him, and he's pitching for a no good ball club out there. So they already came out and said, right, they're going to limit him. We've seen that over his last couple starts. I have zero interest in him. The one guy I would say pivot off of Flaherty, if you want there, is Zach Wheeler. 19 of his 22 starts on the year have been very good. He had 3 bad starts overall. We could see a bad start here against this Arizona team who just, quite frankly, doesn't strike out a ton. But it is Zach Wheeler. He does have good arm, good stuff. He's going to be low owned. Everything checks the box there. If you wanted a tournament pivot off of Flaherty, I think Zach Wheeler is your guy up at the top tier. Outside of that, I have no interest in Blanco in that Fenway win game there. It is good hitting conditions there in Fenway. So I'm out on him, out on Crochet, out on Keller, out on Bryce Miller. Robbie Ray, I think, is a solid option. I just don't like chalk Robbie Ray. And quite frankly, I like spending and saving more money. In terms of my SP2 on the slate, I like expensive offenses we're going to talk about. So Robbie Ray, I think, is fine, but I think his ownership is a little too high for me. He does struggle with power concerns. This Tigers team has actually hit the ball as of late, right? They almost took the sweep there against the did they end up sweeping the Mariners? I know it's not obviously it's not.
Walked off last night, the Mariners.
Yeah, so they just about come out of Seattle there with a sweep. They're swinging some good sticks. Robbie Ray struggles a little bit against lefty power and some of those righties. And actually, over the current season against left-handed pitching, this team just has a 22.5% strikeout rate. Obviously, it's a little bit different on the road than it is at home, but still, nonetheless, I think I'm going to be underweight on Robbie Ray. But I am with you on Jameson Taillon. I wrote him up in the slate plan. Usually not a guy I like too much to tout. He's just not a huge strikeout arm, but he does have one of the best matchups in baseball here. This White Sox team has quit, right? What are they? 21 in a row, 22 in a row loss, right? It is great hitting conditions there.
They're on us on Wednesday, Nades. They're 1-21. They're 1-22 the last 23.
Yeah. Despite that, whatever. But the White Sox bullpen behind Crochet, who's only going to probably play 3 or 4 innings, is likely to give Tyon the in line for the win. It is great hitting weather there. He is 8,200. He's going to be, quite frankly, probably 1/4 the ownership of Robbie Ray for $400 cheaper. So I don't mind Tyon in this spot just strictly due to the matchup. I mean, this White Sox team is just abysmal, as Ham likes to say. There is a couple guys in there that I think you could, if you wanted to do a mini stack on the White Sox just strictly due to the weather, you could, but I definitely side with Tyon over that White Sox team. So for me, up at the top tier, it's Flaherty, Zach Wheeler is your tournament pivot, and then Tyon are kind of the three guys I like. Robbie Ray's a good play, but like I said, I'm going to be underweight due to this extreme ownership there. Detroit swinging a good stick, and I just hate Robbie Ray. You never know what you're going to get. Sometimes he can come out and strike out 10. The other time he gives up 5 home runs in the first inning or something like that, right, and just gets absolutely dusted like a Nestor Cortez did the other night for us. Let's jump down to the cheaper tier. There is some guys down here that I like, and that's kind of the reason I'm a little bit underweight on Robbie Ray. Pitching is pretty weak overall, so I might as well just find some guys that I have interest in and saving salary. Jose Berrios, I think, is going to pick up some ownership here against these A's. I'm off him. I actually like some of these Oakland bats against him. I think he is a solid option there if you wanted to get to him. Carson Spires, we've played this guy quite a bit. He's not for me tonight against these Milwaukee guys who just don't strike out. Quite frankly, super aggressive on the base pass and have been murdering the baseball as of late on the back of Willie Adames. So I'm out on him, but I do have 2 guys down here that I do like. Aaron Savali, number 1, I think picks up the most ownership down here. Gets this matchup against Cincinnati, who hit for a ton of power against right-handed pitching, but overall do have strikeouts that come with it. They're a top 10 team in baseball in terms of ISO against right-handed pitching. I still like Savali at 6,300. I think he's too cheap here for the matchup, for his strikeout upside in relative nature to the slate and the other pitchers on this slate. So I do like him. And then I do like some Martin Perez here. This Miami team, not afraid of them. Been picking on them all season long. This team, this confirmed lineup is absolutely atrocious. I mean, there's 2 guys in this lineup that really scare me. One guy in particular, right, in Jake Berger. Outside of that, I mean, this team is just horrible. It's a great park for pitching as well, and he's 6,200. He's my favorite guy on the slate in terms of SP2. Martin Perez, Savali's a close second. Outside of that, I don't have a lot of interest down here, but I'll throw it over to you. Maybe you got some diamonds in the rough down here. I know you're usually jumping into this dusty range quite a bit and find some sleepers for sure.
Yeah, man, I got my slice and dice play of the day, and the only thing I did last time I had a slice and dice play of the day. All my guy did was throw a no-hitter. So I'm not saying my guy's going to throw another no-hitter today, but I don't see how you can't have any interest in my guy Grant Holmes in Colorado. $7,600, a little bit more than I want to pay. But listen, Grant Holmes, big strikeout guy. We know he can get to 5 innings. I think he can mow through this Colorado Rockies team. Couple that, Nades, with the fact that this Braves team, they just faced like the 1996 New York Yankees in the Milwaukee Brewers, who lit them up. The Braves got deep into their bullpen in all 3 games. Starting pitcher was out early, including Charlie Morton, including Chris Sale. They got beat around, so they're going to need Grant Holmes to go at least 5, possibly 6, and I think he can do it. I think he can rack up 8 Ks, and we know we've been picking on this Rockies team even in Coors all season long. They got a 25% strikeout rate to righties at home on the course of the season. So give me some Grant Holmes going up against this Rockies team. And yeah, I like those other 2 guys you mentioned. I'm glad you didn't mention Grant Holmes, but give me some Grant Holmes at 7,600 today.
Yeah, I don't mind that. That's another direct pivot right off of Berrios there, so I don't mind it. Like I said, I just like Savali and Perez a lot more for $1,000 or more cheaper there, and that's $1,000, $1,500 does go a long way on the slate for sure. So I don't hate Grant Holmes there. Like I said, I'd probably play him over Berrios, to be honest, in the matchup there. I want to address one guy in the chat, Lone Wolf. Appreciate you tuning in. Appreciate your little jab that you threw at me. Hey, you can go ahead and play Robbie Ray. I'm just telling you what I'm doing. I'm probably not going to play Robbie Ray. I know there's obviously 9 spots you can get different on your roster, whatever you want to do. I talk about it all the time on this show. I'm not sure if you watch these every single time I'm on here. I said ownership is relative in baseball. There's so many ways to get different. It's just a spot where I already gave my reasons why. It's not just ownership that I see Robbie Ray as chalk and I cross him off. I gave other reasons there. So go ahead. Robbie Ray is a good play. That's why he's going to be 55% owned on the slate, right? It's just the nature of how I'm playing the slate and how I'm attacking it. I'm just going to go elsewhere in terms of him. I do think he is a solid play, much like the rest of the industry does. So did want to hit on that real quick. But yeah, the other guys down here, Savali, Perez are my two favorites. Grant Holmes call by Ham. I think that's a solid call. Don't mind that. Barrios, I think, is an all right play. But for me, pitching is pretty gross overall in the slate. I'm going to have a condensed pitching pool and spread more out at offense. I think there's probably 8 to 10 teams you can play on the slate outside of the Braves, obviously, who are going to be the one team that everybody talks about being in Coors Field there against a guy that's just absolutely abysmal. But Hamich, go ahead and give your top 4 on the slate. It's pretty thin overall, so we'll keep it to 4.
Yeah, I'll go with Flaherty, number 1, absolutely. Number 2, like I said, I'm going to go Tyon. I'm going to go Holmes, 3. And then I'm going to ride the Nades. I'm going to ride the Nades train. I do like Robbie Ray, too, so he may be 5. I know you said 4. I'm going to go Zach Wheeler. I like that as a pivot in tournaments. You know, he has longevity for sure. You know, can get to 100 pitches easy, can get to 38 like he did last time out. I know it was a different matchup. But, yeah, Zach Wheeler would be number 4 and a great tournament pivot off of Flaherty. Great call by you on that one.
Yeah, great breakdown there. I'm going Flaherty number 1 as well. I'm with you there. All things considered on the nature of the slate, I'm going Martin Perez number 2. I like the salary. I like the matchup. I like everything, especially that lineup is worse than I anticipated even being. So I do have Perez. I think he might get some late steam as well as other people see that lineup. I just don't care. It's not going to matter too much. So he's number 2. Number 3 for me is going to be Zach Wheeler. I think the upside in tournaments off the Flaherty, it's very hard to do a double spend. I don't recommend it because there is a lot of high-powered offenses that you're going to miss out on. But I would go Zach Wheeler 3, and then Tyon 4 for me, and I'll go Savali 5. So those are kind of my top 5. Those are kind of the 5 guys that I'm interested in, and probably won't have anybody else in my pitcher pool, to be honest with you, besides those 4 or 5 there. Let's talk game by game here. First game on the slate is in Toronto here. The Athletics coming to town to face Mr. Barrios and his 17.5% strikeout rate at home. Again, the Athletics strike out a ton, but they do have some big power boppers in this lineup. Lawrence Butler, who's having a hell of a season, second half of the season here. J.J. Bleday, Rooker, Shea Langeliers. I don't mind these Oakland guys. I think you can full 5-man stack them. Nobody's going to play them. Guaranteed 9th inning at bats. They've definitely broken slates before. I prefer them more as a mini stack, but I do think you can 5-man them. I have some interest in those. My favorite bat is in this lineup is definitely Brent Rooker, Shea Langeliers. Those two, that's a great mini stack there. Rooker is kind of expensive, but I don't hate it. And then this Toronto team is going to pick up a decent amount of ownership in terms of bats. Obviously, it's relative. Outside Atlanta, pretty much everybody else, it's just a me too in terms of ownership there. But this Blue Jays team, I think, is going to pick up some ownership against Mr. Mitch Spence. Not a great pitcher here. Just a team that is hard for me to play outside of Vlad. I cored Vlad yesterday. He dropped 35 in the slate. He's hitting the baseball well right now. I think he's a great play for sure. Nice you can play him at third base, which is definitely huge. First base, obviously, as well. I do like some Vlad. Like the A's more than the Blue Jays is kind of where I'm at in this game, but I'll throw it over to you. Any interest here?
Yeah, with you. Vlad is about to get the Aaron Judge treatment, Nades, because he is absolutely on fire, and he has some guy named Spencer Horwitz behind him and Varsho in front of him, and you don't need to pitch to him. You can pitch to those guys, but Vlad is an amazing one-off in my opinion. Brent Rooker is an amazing one-off in my opinion as well. Love both of those guys. And then it would be lefties for me on the A's, and they only have 3 in there, and only 2 that I like: Lawrence Butler, J.J. Bleday. But yeah, give me some Rooker, give me some Vladdy.
I'm just looking at the last 30-day numbers for Barrios. 16% strikeout rate, and actually gets hit pretty hard by righties. Gives up a ton of power there, a ton of fly balls, 36% fly ball rate there. So a little bit of reverse splits there for Barrios. Righties actually hit him pretty well. So that's why I don't mind some of these Oakland guys. Again, prefer it more as a mini stack. Let's jump to the next game here. We're going to Fenway, and it is good hitting weather here. Kevin Roth has it tagged as yellow, so there is some issues there. It looks like they're going to play through some showers and rain throughout the game there, but it is good hitting weather, right? 15-mile-an-hour winds blowing out to center field, left center, 15 to 17-mile-an-hour winds. Obviously, the gusts are probably going to be a little bit higher than that, about 80 degrees there in Boston as well. Two decent real-life arms on the hill, Blanco, Tanner Houck. But, again, is this a spot where both of these teams, I think, come out somewhat under-owned in terms just due to the nature of the two arms on the hill? Talk to me. Any Astros for you, any Red Sox for you here? I know you scuffled about these Red Sox a little bit pre-show. Talk to the people here.
Yeah, this Blanco kid, I mean, good, very good strikeout pitcher. Problem is this Red Sox team doesn't strike out a whole ton at home versus righties. And Blanco is a fly ball pitcher, if I'm not mistaken, Nades, especially against lefties. And that poses some problems when you got Jarren Duran, Wilyer Abreu, Rafael Devers, David Hamilton, if he's in the lineup. So give me these lefties. I don't mind the righties. I know Tyler O'Neill went on the IL, so he obviously won't be in there. But, Connor Wong, somebody like that. But really focus on these lefties when it comes to the Red Sox. It's one of my favorite stacks tonight. And then not going to stack these Astros up, but if you wanted to get funky and one-off, I think obviously Yordong in the 3-hole is a great play. Went yard his last time out in his last at-bat, so don't mind him. That's his first home run, Nades, and I think like 15 games or something crazy like that. But maybe he gets off the schneid and give me some Yordong as a one-off tonight. And give me these lefty Red Sox.
Yeah, I'm with you here. I like these Red Sox quite a bit. I think they're a little bit slept on here. I think if people go here, they attack Tanner Houck with the guaranteed 9th inning at bats on the Houston side. But yeah, I mean, looking at Blanco over the last month, 341 ISO allowed to the left-handed hitters, and you are correct. He is an extreme fly ball guy, almost a 40% fly ball rate over the last month to left-handed hitters. And if you look at the Red Sox, who are the fly ball hitters? Well, it's all those lefties. Abreu, Dom Smith, Devers, Hamilton, Sogard is a switch hitter. Those are your 5 fly ball guys over the course of the season against right-handed pitching. Great stack there. You got a 2, 4, 6, 7, 9 stack. It's a little bit more spread out, but should be pretty low owned having Sogard and Hamilton in there as 7 and 9 hitters. You can obviously add in a Duran and any of the other guys, right? A Yoshida. But those are kind of the 5 guys that I would definitely build around. Devers, obviously great play. Abreu, ever since you spoke him into existence about 2 weeks ago now, the dude's been hitting home runs left and right. So if you wanted a mini stack, I think a 1-3-4 mini would be very nice against Blanco here and his fly balls. So great hitting weather, obviously great hitting weather, wind blowing out, good temperatures there against a fly ball pitcher. And definitely have to have some interest in these Red Sox. And then on the Astros, it's just Yordong for me. No interest in the rest of this lineup, really. I mean, an Altuve's fine. A Bregman, who's playing good baseball right now, is fine too. But outside of those guys, no interest in a full 5-man stack of these Astros for me. Next game, this is a game where I think pitching definitely highlights this game in Miami here. Not a great hitter's ballpark here. Martin Perez, I liked him a lot. I get it. He does struggle on the road, but again, man, it's just the nature of the slate and his price point for the matchup he's facing. I definitely put more weight into that than how he's done so far. All I need him to do is do what he's going to do tonight for me. Hopefully that's positive points, and he can get me 12 to 15 or so. These Padres, though, against Cabrera is a massive strikeout arm, but where he does struggle is control issues there. This Padres team is overall a patient offense. They don't strike out a ton. They put the ball into play. This is an offense where I think could give a guy like Cabrera, who struggles with command sometimes, despite his high strikeout ability, some fits. I wish it was in a better ballpark. I think the Padres, you could stack them. I like other teams more just due to the ballpark, due to the nature of the strikeout ability Cabrera can display. I still think this is a team that can give him fits. So I wouldn't hate people for going to the Padres here. But where are you going here? San Diego, Miami.
Yeah, I'm with you as it relates to Perez, and no interest in this Marlins team. Confirmed lineup striking out about 26%, so no thank you there. And I don't think so that I'm going to get to this Padres team. Not in this stadium. Cabrera, big fly ball pitcher, so it'd be the fly ball guys. But just nothing's popping off at the page for me. Profar looks the best. I don't know if you said him, but yeah, Profar looks the best. In my opinion, we got a Luis Arise homecoming game. What do they call that, Nades? A revenge game for Arise. No interest in Arise, but if you wanted that narrative, hey, it's there. It won't be me, though, Nades.
I will throw one more name out, Jackson Merrill. This kid is red hot at the plate right now, hitting for a ton of power. He's hitting 6 behind Xander. Little lefty there. He's got a lot of power. I think he can hit it out of just about any stadium there. So I don't mind a Jackson Merrill. 4,100 is actually a pretty fair price point in terms of the outfield. So don't mind him for sure.
Yeah, just to comment on that I just put up there in the chat. We both have a ton of interest in Martin Perez, and neither one of us have interest in Quintana, and actually have some interest in the Mariners, which we'll obviously get to when we get to that game.
Yeah, so K-Town, I'm definitely on Team Perez, especially for the little bit more savings as well, right? You're talking 6,200 versus 7,500. $1,300 goes a long way in terms of bats when you want to play bats like the Braves, right, who top 4 hitters are very expensive. I like the KC offense a ton as well. And the Philly, who are all expensive stacks there. So it's definitely for me, Perez, but I can see people going to Quintana. Obviously, that Mariners matchup has been strikeout heavy all season long. It's just not a spot where I'm looking to get to there personally.
Hey, what do you know about Profar getting hit? I see that he's in the lineup.
Yeah, he's gotten hit in both of his last 2 games. He's gotten hit with a pitch. He still stayed in I was watching it yesterday or the day before, and he still stayed in. He doesn't look right at the plate right now when he's up there hitting. He did get hit 2 games in a row, so maybe there's some underlying issues there going on. And it is a pretty expensive price point there, $5,100 to pay for him, but he is hitting second. I think if the organization has you in the lineup there and you're hitting second, I think they think you're fine. So he's in there. I think I wouldn't worry about the injury concerns too much. If he's playing, I think he's good to go.
I saw something real quick and we can move on. I saw where they were only 3 games back. Them and the D-backs were like 3 games back of the Dodgers.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's accurate, but damn, I mean, hopefully they catch them. Hopefully they keep those Dodgers at home, those scumbags. Give me the Padres and Diamondbacks to leapfrog the Dodgers, hopefully.
Yeah, that's another thing we're going to be looking at as we approach the playoffs here coming in October in about a month and a half or so. Is that Padres, Arizona, and Dodgers race is going to definitely get pretty tight. It is pretty tight already. So Padres are definitely selling out to take their spot for sure. Next game on the slate here, it's Taillon, it's Crochet. Crochet probably going to max 4 innings, maybe 5 maximum. So that means you got at least 4 innings from this White Sox bullpen in a wind game in Chicago. Decent weather, best hitting conditions on the entire slate outside of Fenway, maybe outside of Coors Field, which obviously there's some weather issues there in Coors Field. This is a great game. I think these Cubs are very sneaky on the slate. Everyone says Garrett Crochet. Don't want to stack against them for a good reason. He was absolutely electric to start the year. Then obviously his team quit on him, and the staff, rightfully so, isn't going to run this guy out there and throw his arm off. I like some of these Cubs bets against Crochet, but it's more you're stacking against this White Sox bullpen in good hitting conditions. I like these Cubs as a full 5-man stack, mini stack as well. And then the White Sox, I think Robert, Vaughn, Benintendi, that middle heart of the order, I don't think is the craziest play against Taillon, but definitely prefer Taillon over the White Sox for sure. But give me some of these Cubs.
Yeah, I don't get it. Why these projection sites just haven't caught up yet to Crochet, a young man that hasn't thrown more than 77 pitches in 2-3 months, and he's not going to get there tonight. I'm sorry, he hasn't thrown over 77 pitches in a month. He's got great upside, but man, he's just not going to be in there long enough. So I don't see how you could play him. These projection sites haven't caught up to that. I'm not going to play the Cubs just because Crochet could no hit him for 5 innings and then pull him out. But man, that bullpen is atrocious, as you said, just so bad, just blows lead after lead. So no interest. You know what? I'm going to cross this game off just because I have a ton of interest in Taillon, and then I respect Crochet enough to at least get through 4 or 5 innings that I'm not gonna risk it. I think there's other places to go.
So I will say Crochet, I don't know if it's a nature of his team quitting on him or what, but he's only gone 4 innings in 2 of his last 3 starts. The other was 3. He's given up 11 hits and 2 home runs over those starts. So that's kind of the reason I'm on these Cubs. And then obviously you get 5 innings, likely, maybe 6 out of that bullpen. So I think the Cubs are pretty sneaky here. Crochet struggled a little bit with command as well. He's had 7 walks over the last 3 starts as well, and just 12 strikeouts total over those 3 starts there. So maybe Crochet is just giving up on his team, rightfully so, right? Probably a good idea there. So definitely seems like more Cubs interest in myself personally than you do. Swanson, Wisdom, Suzuki would be kind of my preferred guys. I wouldn't worry about left or righty splits wise, because it's pretty much going to be a bullpen game for the most part, majority of the game for sure. So give me some of these Cubs, no White Sox for sure. Next game on the slate, my Milwaukee Brewers here at home against Carson Spires. I think they're interesting plays for sure. The Reds, I think you could play against Savali. I have more interest in the Savali side than these Reds. Outside of an Ellie De La Cruz, who's in elite play anytime, right? He gets on, he's for sure stealing second almost 100% of the time, right? He is $6,300. You got to decide if you want to spend down in that mid tier with a guy like Orlando Arcia on the Braves, spend up with a guy like Bobby Witt, who's obviously in the elite company up at the top. There's some other names in terms of shortstop as well. But these Brewers, I mean, Garrett Mitchell, lefties against Carson Spires, give him fits. Bryce Terang, Jake Bowers, who hit a bomb yesterday. The Brewers, I think the entire team hit a home run, right? 7 or 8 home runs, 6 or 7 home runs, something like that they hit yesterday. I think if you would have parlayed that, you could have probably took off the rest of the year from your job if you parlayed all those guys to hit home runs there. But I think these Brewers are pretty interesting. They're hitting the baseball well. Churio's smashing the baseball. Mitchell is 2,800, projected to hit third here. Contreras is absolutely locked in on the plate right now, outside of along with Willie Adames. I think this Brewers team is a pretty interesting stack here against Mr. Spires overall. But talk to me. Any interest here?
Yeah, the problem is, in my opinion, is Spires, I think you said it a minute ago, is worse versus left-handed batters. And the guys that I want to play, the Adameses, the Contrerases, the Hoskins of the world, are all righties. Yeah, I'm torn. I haven't built any teams. I mean, they've been on fire. And then I have a little bit of interest in this Reds team. I mean, if Savale is going to be popular, this Reds team can steal bases on you left and right, and Ellie can get 4. He doubled down the other night. I don't think it was like 45 DraftKings points against the Marlins. So I don't hate this game, Nades. We'll see what happens when the lineups shake out. But like both of these offenses potentially.
Yeah, I think this is a decent game. Definitely prefer the Brewers side. I want the fly ball guys, Hoskins, Adames, Jake Bowers, and then any of the other lefties for sure. Definitely Hoskins and Willie Adames are probably my 2 favorite right-handed hitters in this lineup. And then Contreras is good too, just because he's red hot at the plate right now. But yeah, overall, pretty solid game for offense. Next game, I think, is a great game for offense as well. I like both sides of this next game. We're going to Kansas City here. Your boy, Michael Lorenzen, which I was shocked that you didn't mention him when we were talking pitching, because I don't know what it is. I don't know if you got a ceiling poster or you put him in your mirror, right, when you're trimming up that beard and brushing your teeth in the morning or what. But he is pitching for Kansas City now. He's no longer he was in Texas, I believe, right? Now he's over in KC. And then you got Mikolas on the hill facing these Royals, who just don't strike out in general, hit for a ton of power at home. I like this game quite a bit. Royals is probably my favorite pivot. Surprise, surprise, off the Braves. But, I mean, anybody on the slate outside the Braves are not going to get ownership in terms of stacks. I like both these stacks a lot. I want these lefties for the Cardinals, and then any of these Royals for sure against Mikolas.
Another day ended in Y. You're stacking up those Royals, and man, this the Royals must have not have been on the main slate last time, because I did not know that Michael Lorenzen got traded. I didn't know Lorenzen got traded, so there's no way they were on the main slate recently. I think he's pitched one time. In any event, no interest in Michael Lorenzen. I do have that ceiling poster. I go to bed to every night looking at Michael Lorenzen, but tonight's not the night for him. Going up against this somewhat decent offense, I guess. It's not a juggernaut by any stretch, but not picking on the Cardinals. But yeah, let's pick on Mikolas and his mediocre at best strikeout rate with Bobby Witt double dong last night. like these Royals in Coors Field 2.0, and then no interest in either pitcher. And then I'm not gonna play any Cardinals, but not gonna pick on them either.
Yeah, I mean, anytime you walk almost 17% of left-handed hitters, and the Cardinals are going to trot out, I see at least 4 of them, right? Nootbaar, Victor Scott, Donovan, Burleson. I haven't seen a confirmed lineup, but at least 4. I mean, you start walking those guys, and then you got Wilson Contreras back in that lineup. You got a Goldschmidt, who I don't love his price point, but, I mean, I think this is a pretty sneaky Cardinal spot overall, guaranteed full 9-inning at bats as well. I think that Royals pen is more towards the middle of the pack, too. I haven't dug into recent bullpen numbers, but I don't hate this Cardinal spot. And then, yeah, I mean, these Royals, Mikolas gives up a ton of power to both sides of the plate. A lot of fly balls to left-handed hitters for sure. You got Massey, you got Vinny P, Melendez, Kyle Isbell, who I always love, 2,500. Nobody plays him in the back half of that order. He can steal bases. He can hit an occasional home run here or there. So this is a game I like. This is probably one of my favorite games on the entire slate. And I definitely like both offenses for sure. Next game on the slate is the important one here. It is Coors Field. There is weather concerns. I do want to pull up the weather here. Roth has it tagged as yellow-orange, saying Colorado has been dealing with scattered showers and storms around for the past week. They've been able to navigate it without much concern recently this week, but it is a bit higher tonight in terms of coverage. Definitely have to pay attention to it, but it is the best spot on the slate in terms of offense. It's the Braves against this Tanner Gordon character who 3 of his 4 starts, he's looked absolutely atrocious, just terrible, horrible. Gives up a ton of fly balls, ton of power to right-handed hitters, and the Braves newly acquired Soler in that order, Austin Riley, Ozuna, Sean Murphy, Orlando Arcia. I mean, you name it. I love this offense, much like everybody else does. And I don't see an overwhelming chalk like we typically do on a Coors Field slate due to the prices of that top half of the order.
Yeah, let's start on the Rocky side first. No interest in those guys. Interest in Holmes. And then this Braves team. I mean, you got to love them, right? Going up in Coors Field. This might be the first time that they've been here this year. I probably don't get there much, being in the AL West and them in the East. So they're going to be popular, and rightfully so. Marcell Ozuna, Austin Riley. I mean, up and down the lineup. I would always, when an offense, I know they've struggled this year for the most part, but anytime you get an explosive offense like this, I always like playing guys 7, 8, 9 that are going to be lower owned, that gives yourself a chance to differentiate. So give me 1 through 9 in this Braves lineup. I mean, they'll all be sub 10%, right? 6, 7, 8, 9. But they're going to be popular, and then no Rockies for me.
I mean, this character, this Gordon character, right, that's pitching, at least going to start pitching for these Rockies, and then obviously it's the worst bullpen in baseball behind him. I mean, he allows a .471 ISO to right-handed hitters and almost a 40% fly ball rate in Coors Field. I mean, if Marcell Ozuna doesn't hit a home run here tonight, there's big issues. I'll tell you that. I'll give everybody out there a free. I know that's a wild hot take. Oh my God, Nate said Marcell Ozuna's going to hit a home run here tonight in Coors Field against the worst pitcher on the slate. I know, surprise, surprise. I'm just saying. All things point to these righties for the Braves. Just absolutely smashing. I love this spot. Typically, I'm on team fade Coors, but this is a spot where I definitely want these Braves because I'm seeing ownership pretty much held in check relative to usual Coors Field spots. There's just so many offenses on this slate, right, that you can go to. And the top half of this order is expensive if you want to play Flaherty. So do think it stays in check. I love your call. The back half of that order, Adam Duvall, I think, is going to be probably more popular than you think. Just another righty with some power hitting down there at 3,200. So great offense, great spot. Doesn't take us to come on here and tell you that against Tanner Gordon and the worst bullpen in baseball behind him. Next game, a couple of games left to talk about. I do think this next game, one of the sides is definitely interesting here. Nelson, who has been pitching pretty decent and overall has had a pretty good year, I think is a little bit over his head here in this matchup with the Phillies coming to town. I like these Phillies quite a bit. They are expensive overall, but an offense that, hey, who can match the upside of a Braves in Coors Field against a terrible pitching staff? I think the Phillies are one of those teams that check that box there. So I do like these Phillies quite a bit. And then the D-backs, I don't want to tag Zach Wheeler on a 12-game slate, but again, this team just doesn't strike out. They have power throughout. I don't like the D-backs much, but I don't think it's the craziest play. I just don't want to pick on Zach Wheeler on this big of a slate personally.
Yeah, I agree with you there. And it's lefties for me on this Phillies team. Nelson striking out, I think it's 17% of lefties on the season. Gives up pretty bad ISO against lefties as well. Should be bombs away for Mr. Triple Dong himself, Kyle Schwarber, Bryce Harper, and gang. Give me those lefties to start, then fill in with those righties. And then, 12 games. You got 24 teams to choose from. I'm not picking on one of our top 4 pitchers, so no Diamondbacks for me.
Yeah, no, excellent breakdown there. Couple games left. Next game on the slate here. I saw some talk on Quintana in the chat there. Personally, I'm out on Quintana. I actually liked some of these Seattle bats. They just overall, they do have some high strikeout bats in there, but Quintana's not going to blow up pie anybody, right? I mean, on the road this season, he's got sub 17% strikeout rate. Expected ERA over 5. These Mariners, Robles, Rosarena, Cal Raleigh, one of the best plays on the slate. Mitch Garver, if you can't get up to Cal Raleigh. Overall, I like this offense quite a bit. They're pretty sneaky stack. I got them low owned. Overall, I like this team quite a bit here tonight. They're very cheap to stack up. They complement secondary stacks against the Phillies, against the Braves, against Kansas City very nicely overall. But this is a team that I definitely have interest in here against Quintana.
Yeah, we both agree that we liked Seattle a little bit tonight. Cal Raleigh looking pretty good. Robles leading off looking pretty good. Even Mitch Garver, who's had kind of a down season, don't mind him. Where's he slated to bat tonight, Nades?
7th, and you want righties against Quintana. Gives up a ton of power and fly balls to right-handed hitters there, and that definitely fits the script of Mitch Garver, historic lefty masher.
Yep. Dylan Moore hits lefties as well. I mean, just looking at this projected lineup, I mean, yeah, Polanco, Moore, Haniger, Garver, kind of like that, right? And throwing Justin Turner to get different, right? Because if you're playing this on DraftKings, you're going to play Cal Raleigh at 3 and not play Mitch Garver. So yeah, give me some Mitch Garver. Haniger hit that walk-off. I saw something last night, Nate. That was like his 13th walk-off hit this year, which is kind of crazy. Seems like a lot, but yeah, last Friday night they went up against the guy that nobody could. Tommy Phillips, Tyler Phillips, nobody was going to get a hit off him. All they did was put up a 10-burger in Seattle last Friday night. So I think it's more of the same. I'm with you. Give me those M's tonight. And then on the flip side, I mean, we didn't really talk about Bryce Miller too much. He's pretty decent real life pitcher, but this Mets team on the road against right-handed pitching has been pretty tough this season. Lindor, obviously, Nimmo, Alonso, Martinez. Everybody always talks about first game out of Coors, kind of tough. Maybe couple that with going into a pretty bad ballpark to hit. They may be silenced, but I don't think it's the worst call if you wanted to, get funky and do something different that's late.
Yeah, I'd just rather pick on other pitchers, to be honest. I mean, Bryce Miller has almost a 30% strikeout rate at home this season. Bad ballpark as well. I think there's better spots. Quintana is just absolutely abysmal to right-handed hitters. Ton of power, ton of fly balls, and he should see 9 righties. Obviously, there's a couple switch hitters in there, but the Mariners should, at least the projected lineup has 2 switch hitters and the rest all righties. So they're definitely playing the splits game here against Quintana. And that's kind of the reason I like the Mariners, along with their cheap price points. It makes it easy to play a Jack Flaherty, and if you want to eat the chalk and just go a Robbie Ray, I think that's one way they get a little bit unique there as well. So yeah, good spot there. 2 games left, and 2 games that I don't have really any interest a ton in terms of offense. It is Friday night. It is the Dodgers. They are facing Mitch Keller, though, who has been a good pitcher, and then he's gotten blown up. And it's a spot where if you want to play Ohtani, I mean, another day ending why you can play Ohtani anytime he's on the slate, no matter who the pitcher is. I don't care if it's freaking Cy Young himself on the other side. I mean, you can play Ohtani, but this is a spot where despite their high implied run total, this Dodgers team is just not the same with the back half of that order with the injuries that they've had to guys like Max Muncy, right? Mookie Betts, obviously. I mean, Gavin Lux, Kiki Hernandez, Hayward, Pages, Miguel Rojas. You got some switch hitters down there and lefties that are going to get yanked after Keller's out of there for sure if this game is close. It's just a spot where I don't like a lot of offense at all here in this one. So it's a cross-off spot for me in terms of hitters.
Yeah, Lux, Kiki, Hayward, Pages, Rojas. I mean, that's like some Chicago White Sox type stuff right there. Those guys are trash. So no interest in the full Dodger stack. It'd be that first 4 if I wanted any of them. And then Keller's he's only striking out 20% on the road. So, yeah, I don't see how you could have any interest in him. And then this Pirates team, O'Neal Cruz, like I said earlier, 38% strikeout rate on the road against righties. Jack Flaherty, ladies and gentlemen, lock and load him. He is about to dominate this Pirates team.
Yeah, I'm with you there. Last game on the slate here, out to San Fran here. Robbie Ray chalk on this slate. I mean, pretty brutal. Maeda is now slated to be the long reliever there. Obviously, he probably burned a couple people yesterday or the day before, right? He's been kind of projected to be the long opener for at least a game now. He is projected to be the long opener again tonight. He didn't pitch yesterday. Not a lot of interest in any of these hitters. I mean, if anyone, it would be some of these Tigers minis against Mr. Robbie Ray. But, again, not a spot where I'm looking to get to offense in a 7.5 total in one of the worst parks in baseball for hitting.
Yeah, I don't know who's pitching for the Tigers. I've seen like 3 different guys, 3 different long relievers, and I just don't do bullpen games anymore. I've kicked the habit. I don't pick on bullpen games. They're annoying as hell. I wish they would outlaw them, but they won't because of me and my DFS. So, yeah, no Giants. And then, man, Nades, I know he's going to be chalky, but I don't see how Robbie Ray is not like one of the top 3 pitchers. I mean, just look at this lineup. I mean, who in the world is Justin Henry Malloy, Ryan Vlade Divox, like Gio Ursula, Hobby? Like, who are those people? Like, he's just going to mow them down, I think. I don't know. We'll see, but I like Robbie Ray. I think it's a great ballpark, pitcher's ballpark. So, yeah, I know. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think obviously he's a good play for a reason, right? That's why he's projected to be 50% owned, right? It's just a spot for me where when Robbie Ray's chalk, it just doesn't sit well for me. I mean, he's given up 5 home runs in the last 2 games. Granted, he's had 9 strikeouts last game as well, but he could very well get there. It's just, I don't know, man. It's just giving me a sour taste for some reason, but he is a great play. And that's hence the ownership that you're seeing. But for me, I just like other guys more, and I'm going to take a chance because I'm already playing the Flaherty chalk that I think is almost a lock and load play. He might be on every one of my teams here tonight for sure. So that's kind of the reasoning there.
Got it.
Well, yeah, I mean, looking over the last month, Robbie Ray, over a 10% walk rate, ISO numbers for opposing hitters north of 300, fly ball rates north of 40%. I mean, if there's ever a spot, some of these guys for the Tigers, despite the terrible offense, majority of their lineup is fly ball hitters for sure. So could be a spot you see these Tigers get to some chalk right here. That's all 12 games. We talked pitching. We talked hitting. If you guys missed any of it, scroll back, watch it on replay. If you are watching on replay, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Helps us out a ton. And Ham, got to keep the train rolling. You've been crushing, right? I think it was last Friday, right? We were on the show, and you put a $2 little ticket in, a little $2 ticket in the old FanDuel sportsbook, and came home with $33,000 into your pocket. Why don't you kick us off here? Any home run calls for the people in the chat here?
Yeah, big shout out to my good friend Shohei Ohtani. Did me right. Top of the ninth, 2 strikes, 2 outs, a little 3-run bomb. They lost 6-5, but your boy Ham got a cool 33K in his pocket, so I didn't mind that. Big friend of the show, Shohei is. So thank you. I know he's watching before the game tonight. But I got a double take tonight. Man, I don't see how Rafael Devers. I think I'll say Rafael Devers on every show. But tonight's the night. Rafael Devers will hit 1 bomb, and then go ahead, Nades, and I'm gonna give you my second one.
All right. Yeah. Caught me off a little guard, but I'm going to go to my favorite pivot off the Atlanta Braves. I'm going to the Italian Nightmare, slated to hit 3rd here tonight for the Kansas City Royals, Vinny Pasquantino. I don't see how he doesn't take Mikolas and his dusty old ass deep here tonight in Kauffman Stadium.
I know who your second one is, because we're going to open him an investigation if he doesn't go yard. I'm going to go north of the border up there with my guy Tambo. Give me some Brent Rooker batting third, I think, maybe clean up, but I think Rooker and Devers go yard tonight for sure.
And then I'm going to 2 right-handed hitters on the Braves. We're giving five home run calls here on Friday. We're feeling generous. Parlay them together, throw $1 or throw $2 together. You definitely spent it. I mean, you can't even buy a pack of gum for $2 nowadays. And hey, you might have a chance to win a couple $1,000s, maybe even tens of thousands of dollars. You throw that into a little sports book here. Parlay. FanDuel has definitely better odds for home run parlays there. I'm going to Marcell Ozuna. I already gave that one out for the Braves. 6K hitting third here tonight. And then I'm going to Sean Murphy, $4,000 a catcher there. Another righty to attack Mr. Tanner Gordon and that absolutely dog shit bullpen there for Colorado. There is weather concerns there. If they get knocked, well, so be it. But overall, that's where I'm going here tonight. Appreciate everybody tuning in here. Little home run fun. Parlay those together. I'm not sure what the odds are. Wisconsin doesn't have sportsbook. We're behind the 8 ball there. Pretty shitty overall. I can't go on my little sportsbook apps here in Wisconsin, but make the drive down to Illinois, and you can definitely throw it in there. Any closing remarks for the people before we get on out of here for this Friday?
Yeah, and obviously they'll do it, but man, you got to watch that weather, especially in Colorado. Going to be chalky tonight, but yeah, good luck in your contest, and hopefully we see somebody at the top of the leaderboards again.
Yeah, hope to see those SHIPIT Nation logos at the top. One last time, if you guys are looking for a home for NFL, look no further than SHIPIT Nation. We got you covered. All things, cheapest rate in the industry, $299 covers the entire season. College football comes along with that as well. Discord access, projections, our in-house optimizer access, everything you need there, shipitnation.com. Click the banner at the top of the screen or use that promo code NFL50. But that's going to do it for Hamwich. I'm Nadesify. Good luck tonight in those contests. Hope to see those SHIPIT Nation logos at the top. We'll catch you guys on Monday.